If you're looking for a late night bailout game this Saturday night, I've got you covered. In this video, we're talking Florida State at Stanford. The Seminoles will be an 18-point favorite, and the total sits at 54.5. And right about now, Florida State fans are reeling. Despite the fact that they started the season with a win over Alabama at home, they've now lost 3 straight, and they're 0-3 in the ACC. 3-3 overall, 3-3 against the spread. Is it deja vu all over again for Florida State? We saw what happened when they started losing last year. We kept on waiting for them to turn it around, and it never seemed to happen. But Florida State has lost 3 straight games to 3 pretty good teams. And we probably didn't realize how good Virginia was until Florida State lost at Virginia. And then they lose to Miami, who many are saying might be the best team in the country. And then last week, they lose to Pitt as a double-digit home favorite. But let me tell you something. Pitt is a good team. I bet on Pitt last week. I had them on the money line, gave that out on one of the shows I contribute to. So it was not a shocker to see them lose to Pitt, despite how well they played. It might have been Tommy Castellanos' best game as a passer for Florida State. He threw for 245 yards, 3 touchdowns on 16 of 23 passing. Certainly his best game to date, but despite all the offense, despite all the scoring, they find ways to lose games. And that might say something about their coaching staff. And rumor has it the coaching staff could be on the chopping block. Mike Norvell could be on his way out of town. This Florida State team, though, they can score points. They rank number 1 in the ACC in scoring offense and in total offense. They're scoring 44.2 points per game, and they're averaging 536.5 total yards per game. Now, those numbers are slightly inflated due to a soft schedule. They played a couple FCS teams and one of the worst FBS teams in the country in Kent State. That said, they've scored points against the good teams as well. So there's nothing wrong with the offense. The defense plays well at times, but they find ways to lose games. And they're traveling across the country, going all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. We've seen ACC teams struggle in such positions. But based on the numbers, Florida State still looks like one of the best teams in the conference. And Stanford, well, we're going to talk about Stanford. But before we do, I got to tell you about a promotion we have available right now at Picks and Parlays. And if you've been watching these videos, if you've been following along, you're no stranger to this package, the Weekend Warrior package. I've complained to my bosses because it feels like they're giving away my football picks too cheap. All day Saturday college football, all day Sunday NFL. They're even throwing in the Monday night football game, all for $49. I put out 14 plays on Saturday and Sunday last week. I swept the board with my college football client plays last week, but I'm coming off my worst NFL week of the season. How bad was it? Well, let's put it this way. I'm still hitting 70% dating back to the beginning of last year's playoffs, so I'm not getting many complaints. Let's say it that way. Speaking of complaints, let's see if anybody in the comments has been complaining this week. We got this comment from a fella. He says, Jam Tech -7.5, and he provides a detailed analysis saying Arizona State just lost their best offensive lineman, who they referred to as the 3rd best player on their team. He was replaced by a guy who got his first career start last week versus Utah. Arizona State's quarterback will play against Texas Tech, but will he be fully healthy? We don't know. He goes on to give a bunch of detailed stats, a very detailed analysis, and an excellent analysis, perhaps, maybe more thorough and more in-depth than the analysis I provided in my free pick on Arizona State in this channel. My only critique of his analysis, which I would categorize as flawless, is your job as a sports bettor and a professional handicapper isn't just to analyze the numbers and the data. A lot of people think it is, but in my opinion, yes, I want to analyze the data. I want to know the injury reports, and I want to know the trends and all the data. But if you were going by that alone, the bookmakers would get killed, because it would be easy to solve the puzzle. You also have to get into the psychology of it. You have to dig deeper, go beyond the numbers. And until you do that, you can't truly be great as a handicapper, in my opinion. So that's my only critique of this fella's analysis, which feel free to read it. It looks pretty good to me. Let's see what somebody else is saying. Jesse's a beast. Keep playing with him. I've been listening to this guy for 2 years. Thank you for the compliment, I said to him. He said, most definitely, one of the greats all time. Really appreciate this comment, but what's most significant to me is this guy says he's been following me for 2 years. I do get negative comments from time to time, but those are usually fans that are upset that I bet against their team or people referring to a small sample size of games. But it's very nice to hear a guy that's been following me for years give me an endorsement like that. And when you see something like that, it should make you feel comfortable to go pick up that Weekend Warrior package for just $49. But I'll leave that up to you. Let's get back into this free pick. Let's talk about the Stanford Cardinal. 2-4 on the season, 1-5 against the spread. They've won both their home games. There is that. But they rank 16th in the ACC in total defense. They're allowing 418 yards per game. They do rank number 6 in the ACC in rushing defense, though. They're only allowing 115 yards per game. Florida State does prefer to run the football. Stanford only won 3 games all of last season. I will point out one of those games was a 38-35 home win over a number 19 ranked Louisville team. So, if you're looking for proof of concept, it has been done before. Stanford's quarterback, Ben Gulbranson, he's thrown for 1,445 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks, completing just 59% of his passes. But maybe he's running the ball. Well, he's run for 140 yards. Oh, no, that's a negative 140 yards. Sorry about that. Let's be honest. By the numbers, Florida State should mop the floor with Stanford. They don't have the talent at Stanford. They don't have the personnel. They're just not a good football team. And Florida State, despite their three losses in a row, they're still a pretty talented football team. So by the numbers, this is Florida State all the way. But you heard what I just said. You don't make your bets. If you truly want to be a great sports bettor and a great handicapper, you got to go beyond the numbers, and you got to look at the emotions and the psychology and the fact that the coach is probably going to get fired after this game. The rest of the coaching staff will lose their jobs. A lot of the players will be transferring to different schools. The travel. It's a very difficult spot for Florida State, and to lay 18 points in a game like this, history tells us that teams in such situations often are ripe for an upset. I mean, you did see Penn State lose to UCLA a couple weeks ago, didn't you? You saw Penn State lose to Northwestern. Coach fired. Yeah, that's these kind of things happen, and the data doesn't tell us they're going to happen. So you got to dig deep for the stuff that does tell us it's going to happen. And I'm not saying this is a sure thing by any stretch of the imagination. What I'm saying is the only way you can bet this game is to bet the dog. And if Florida State wins by 1 million, all the power to them. But in situations like this, give me the points, baby, and sprinkle on the money line. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below. I can handle it. No worries. Thanks for tuning in.